Hey guys, I've got another game for you. This time I will be playing Wrona. I actually don't know too much about his game. That was a very fast move. I guess I can learn that about his game, though you never really need to think about playing QI on the first turn. Alright, um, I know Sean is around a 16, 1700 player in real life, and he seems to play a little better than that on ISC. Maybe his real life rating is a little lower, but it's been going up. He doesn't play much. One of my favorite things to do in Scrabble is to respond to QI with my own QI because it just leaves your opponent with almost no counter options. They're going to need an S to get any sort of points or a bingo. And if they don't have that, their options are really like 8 or 9. The AEILOR leave is not great. OI is going to give a much better leave for me, but it's going to give Sean so much back that I don't get to do this often. I don't get to justify this play often, so I'm going to make it just for kicks. And I draw another vowel, which is not what I needed to do, but that's okay. Sean is going to score very little this turn, I hope, and so that's great. I really hope he doesn't have that S, though, or I'm just going to look like a fool for trying this. Props to this move, or credit, I guess, for this move, go to Ori Swift. He's the one who introduced me to this situation initially. I never would think to do this without him, but I remember seeing him do it to a player one time in a friendly game, and ever since then I've been enamored with making this move. This is Josh Sokol. Josh is the guy who at Nationals opened with QI right here. He did that, he said, mostly to make his opponent mad, and his opponent was definitely a mad player, or a player who would get mad if you did something like that. And Josh did end up winning the game, so maybe his move was enough to put his opponent on tilt and win the game. If Sean passes, and I feel like that's a likely response to this play, then OI is going to be a nice thing for me to do to get out of this rack. AELOR is not a superb leave, but it's something. And again, I'm giving Sean just very few plays. I'm also holding the L for myself. So, Sean is taking a lot longer on this turn, and I feel like my play deserves credit for that. I wonder how often an opponent exchanges in response to a QI response to QI. It's got to be a lot. 40% maybe? 50%? We'll see what Sean does here. So again, I wish I knew more about Sean as a player. I don't watch too many of his annotated games. Um, I know he can be extremely down on himself at times, but all right. Sean has responded, and he has not responded with an exchange, so I get to think about things. I wish that fit. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. I don't have an extra I for that. Um, Leia is going to go right alongside his play for a bunch of points. Yeah, that's got to be the correct thing to do here. And just like that, despite subpar opening rack, I've got a lead. I've gotten out of that rack, and I've got a nice defensive board again. I guess Sean can score a bunch here, but any play here is going to give either a triple word up or at least some sort of response. An S is going to be really important on this board, probably. Now it's going to be even more important after Sean has done that, but I guess we'll raise 2-1. Kind of feel like Sean's already got one. A play like that quickly maybe implies something. All right, what do I do here? So the thing about closed boards is they're closed for both players. So even though my opponent doesn't have a lot of options, I don't either. I could just drop the X right there for 18. COIR is another option for 12. It's going to limit Sean's responses unless he's got an S for here or here. Maybe some sort of E word, but that's unlikely. EIRX, I'm going to draw EX plays here a decent amount of the time, but I'm scoring 12 points. CEIORR is kind of bingo oriented. Actually, I can't think of too many options where I am going to bingo. And even if I draw that bingo, I'm not going to get it down on this board. So there's not a good reason to keep that. Some sort of extension here is not going to, I'm not going to have one. So really I've got to play right in this area of the board. And again, I see nothing good there except queer and the X-bomb. If I am concerned that Sean has an S, and I kind of am, then Coir is a little bit stronger because it's going to make his S plays score less on average. I love closed boards. I'm happy this has happened, even though I don't have a great option right now. In a few months, Oxic would be a great response because that's going to keep things pretty shut off. Or Oxic down here. No, that's going to open up Toxic. I'm going to run with Coir here and just see what Sean is able to do. And I'm sure that's not how you pronounce that word, but I pronounce things phonetically unless I actually know the word from a real-life context, and that practically never happens. Banking on Sean not having that S, or not using that S at least. I don't think I've got any four-letter word with the E and the X over here. Don't quite have a play along here, I don't think. XI is something. It has the same considerations with an S, but a bingo ending in an S is now going to give me a triple word, and a bingo going along here is going to give me a triple word. Plus, I'll be keeping a decent balanced rack. Sean has played Erie, and that's going to give me Pax. That's 34. I don't think I've got a 6 that isn't like Rapine or Paneer over here, and there's no way I'm going to play that. I've got the eerier spot, so Paneer here is also an option for 22, but again, I'm not going to do that. Pax is going to give Sean cheap overlaps a decent amount of the time, but it's just such a strong play that I don't think I can do anything else. XI is still on the table. It's going to limit Sean's options here. He's going to need at least a 6 to get that double word. There's a good chance he scores very little again. I hold the R for Erie, or I hold Bingo Prone to go along here. But I'm scoring 19 now instead of 34, and I just think I've got to grab the points here. I've drawn an S, which is huge. I'm going to bingo next turn. Ermine's is the only 7 in this rack. It's going to go here. It's going to go here. So pretty much I'll be playing where Sean doesn't play unless he's going to open up 8 possibilities. He's given me another spot to play. Ermine's over here. Oh, missed it. Ermine's is 71. Immersion is also here for 76, it looks like. Yep, 76. Gotta make my window a little bigger. There's a bingo through the T, but it scores so little that it's not worth considering. Ermine's here is going to be 73, and Immersion is going to be 76. Immersion just opens the board up a little bit more, a lot more, I guess. So I'm trying to get this window set up so you can see the bottom corner of the screen without the tiles looking ugly. Immersion's going to keep the S hook in play, and that's going to be hard for me to block. I'm going to be the leader in this game now, and I'm going to kind of want to tend towards defensive plays, although it's so early and so much can still happen that I don't think that's a huge thing. I guess Gavitz is still going to be available, and Cheese is going to be available. If I play in the Cheese spot, he's going to make a big play here. I think in this case, it's probably right to just run with the extra points, and so I'll play Immersion for 76. I've drawn a beautiful, beautiful rack this turn. This window is so ugly now, and I'm trying to get it to look alright while keeping most of it in the screen, and it's just not going to cooperate. That looks okay. A beautiful rack. I can probably play Uno out of it. If that doesn't get blocked, that's gotta be the leading candidate right now. AEO, but get 14 points. That's gotta be worth it over an exchange. Don't think I've got a play worth making through the M. Uno's to the S, I guess, is another option, but nothing good. Won't be scoring much. The Uno play does get blocked, so now I've got decisions to make. Score 10 points and hold AEO, or just dump it all right now. And then if I do dump it all right now, I'm going to have to decide what to keep. The more tiles I turn over, the greater my chances of drawing an SR, but normally logic says that I should keep the logic says that I should keep ES, or not logic, but equity, I guess. Auto is another option. AENU, I score 8. It makes S's big on this board again, and I hate how big S's are becoming in this game. I guess the Gavit spot is mostly out of play now, but the QIS spot and now the Auto spot. 8 points holding AENU versus just getting to exchange and start over. Again, I wish I knew more about Sean as a player. If I knew he were a particularly bingo-oriented player, I could catch him on a closed board trying to bingo too often or too much, and that would influence my decision-making here, I think. This is hard. Counting the remaining vowels, 8, 12, 15, 16 out of 40-something, so we're already sitting. Actually, I gotta know how many. 44, so 51 unseen, and only 16 are vowels. Because I know that we're sitting pretty consonant heavy in the pool, I'm going to play auto and hope that I get some of those consonants. I didn't, but I got Eugenia. That's a bingo. It's not going to fit anywhere right. Oh, it is going to fit on top of this A or underneath this A, making a A. So that's cool. Wow. Sean is probably not going to block that spot. There's no way he can score points over here unless he bingos on his own. So maybe I got very lucky on that turn. We will see shortly. I guess one thing to think about is where I'm going to play this bingo. Eugenia is 64 down here. It is 61 up here. I'm probably just going to grab the points. Eugenia up here is also going to set up AAS, which is not something I really want to be available. Down here, only Ba is available, and that's, terrible for him. A play down to this E is going to be a good way for Sean to open the board back up, but Eugenia on the bottom's got to be a stronger play than Eugenia on the top. I mean, again, we'll see what Sean opens up for me, or if he blocks that spot. But he doesn't. He dinks, and I'm gonna go ahead and pull the trigger on the bingo. That is an example of expert pulling, by the way. Keeping what AENU and drawing a bingo into it. Now I've got Fatty for a ton of points right here, 36. So, I don't really want to throw open this part of the board, but at the same time, it's an F and an A and a D and some not great spots to be putting those tiles. I'm also turning over 5. I'm also knocking out the stab line. Like, all in all, it's a pretty decent play, and if he happens to hit me, like, fine, but odds are he doesn't. Alright, Sean's going to bingo. That's going to give him a slight lead, but now I've got Fatty here for 51, and I'm just going to pull the trigger on that now. There's unless for some reason FODDY is good, there's no reason not to play Fatty for 51. I'm pretty sure this rack doesn't bingo with the 7, but I've just drawn 2 S's, and that's really big. I can score with 1 down here in some way, and keep the other one for this stab line if I want to bingo, for autos if I want to score again. I'm really liking the situation I'm in right now, so if Sean pulls the second blank and is able to hit another bingo pretty quickly, that's not going to be the best thing for me. But even then, I think I'm going to win the game more often than not. I've got about a 40-point lead. I've got a probably 30-point play on tap. And, yeah. So there's sword down here for 30. There's rudes up here for 29. Yeah, I'm sitting in a good position right now. Just hope Sean isn't able to bingo very quickly and score a lot or something. Trying to think of ways I can 8 with this rack, and I'm not seeing possibilities right now. That doesn't mean there aren't some. Lordosis, I think. Yeah, Lordosis is probably good. I think that's got a couple anagrams too. Doorless, yeah. And odorless. So I see those with an L. There's probably something else in there too. But with 3 L's out, there's actually a relatively decent chance that I get one of those if Sean makes a play over here. But we'll worry about that when we get there. I'm trying to decide now if I would play Rudes or Sword. Rudes, obviously, from an equity perspective, is going to be the better thing to do. ES is a much better leave than EOS, and for just 1 fewer point, Rudes is a thing. But that strings this R right here for Sean to score 80 or 90 even. And with the lead, I just don't know if I want to create another line that's going to be kind of hard to block when we've already got this open. We've already got, other stuff. I guess, actually, there's not much other stuff available. But with this opened, we'll have this open now. See what Sean does. He's always able to force something here. I guess that would render the R useless. Rudes is... It's going to be hard for me to talk myself into it, but it's one of these situations where I already know that Rudes is what I'm supposed to do. I just don't really want to do it. If I really am paranoid, I can always play Odors instead, give up 3 points, and put an O there, because he's not going to bingo to that O, like, practically at all. Just don't, I don't know, Rudes has to be the thing to do. If there were any uncertainty in my mind that Rude took an S, I think I'd actually be playing Odors here, but I never really do this in my games. I never really think about sitting on tiles for a lot of time, using a bunch of time to make it seem like I'm thinking about my play when I'm really not. Maybe that's a way of like pretending you have a blank when you don't. Shuffle tiles a lot and spend 4 minutes on a turn before making a move. Maybe that's something I could consider doing here, but I don't do that. I don't know ethically if it's even a good thing to do. That's a moral you can figure out on your own. Everybody's gonna have a different answer. Um, but yeah, not quite close enough to be saying Sean is getting into time trouble, but it might come up later in this game. We do have a bunch of tiles unseen, and he's down well below half of his time now, uh, closing in on using 2/3 of it already. So he's gonna play Hantle. He's gonna play that L, but he's not gonna give it to me where I need it. So that's a little bit unfortunate. I don't think I can bingo from that H. I don't recognize it at least. If there's one there, I don't know the word. Um, Hydroses if I had an I, but. So now the question is, what do I do about these lines, or do I do anything about these lines? He does answer my Rudes versus Odors question because this R, I don't care about this bingo line at all anymore. I'm probably going to be playing this turn. I don't think I can come into this T. Deoorst. Deoorst. Roosted Torritos. Torritos is with an E. Jeez. Yeah, I'm not coming into this T. I'm going to go ahead and play Rudes. And, ooh, bunch of consonants. That's not what I like to see right now. Means I'm probably going to have to use one of the vowels on the board. Les is going to be an option that'll get rid of some of this, but I don't really like how I'm holding on to a bunch of one pointers. The pool is also junky right now. It doesn't close anything except, I guess, this T, which is just not a big consideration. Yeah. And I'm going to have to keep scoring points. If Sean decides he wants to put on the guns and try and score, then I'm going to have to catch up. Ugh, 16. I do have Nertz. I didn't see that earlier. Okay, Nertz is 14. Doesn't close these, but these aren't superb lines. The A's alright, the H not so much. Doesn't close stab. Doesn't score enough to outrun a bingo. Keeps an alright but not great leave. I don't know. I'm kind of without an option this turn for right now. Maybe Sean will give me something. That's kind of what I have to hope for. Because aside from that, I'm stuck with a pretty bad play this turn. Kind of wish I had played sword. And I guess I should have been paying more attention to the vowel consonant ratio. Again, a couple turns ago I brought that up as a consideration for making that play, and I stopped. But I think Rudes has to be the thing to do. Especially with one S still out, the possibility that you can come out and hit a word ending in KS right here for 50, and this becomes a completely different game all of a sudden. I want to try and do away with that possibility as best I can. I'm not mad about Rudes. I still think it's the thing I should have done, but it's unfortunate that it's coming back to burn me right now. Sean's about to go below 5 minutes on his time, so maybe I can try and time rush him, use that against him. wish I had a T. Hertz would be a good play. Knock out the A. Score well enough that I can outrun a bingo even if he does hit one. Oh, you know what? I totally didn't notice until right now that I have Zeal available. It keeps NRRS, which is not great, but for 33 points, I'm happy to do it. I'm going to get rid of the last E in the game. There's a good chance that I draw into a bunch of consonants and I'm stuck, but for 33 points, you know, that's just a chance I'm going to have to take, I think. Sean plays WO, so I need to think for a little bit about what that means. I think it's pretty likely that he doesn't have another W, because otherwise he would play WOW over here. Obviously he doesn't have an E. Is WO a fish? First off, I think I'm playing Zeal practically no matter what I can determine from his play. So I guess the first thing for me to think about is there a play available that will turn me off of Zeal? And I think the answer to that is no. So I'm going to play Zeal. I'm not even going to try and make an inference about his play that turn. Sean immediately throws down JEW, so he doesn't use any time this turn, which is kind of big, and yeah. But now I'm in a situation where if I play KIRS and empty the bag, Sean is not going to bingo, and I feel like it's going to be very hard for me to lose the game now. So maybe I want to think about which word I play here. I could play Kearns instead, get a little bit less, because he's... Is there a K? Yeah, he can potentially play Lakey, and that would probably... That would at least make the game hard. I don't want to make the game hard. I think after Kears, I'm just going to win. If I draw all consonants, I still think I'm going to win. I could, you know, maybe Sean can have a play over here, and 39 from me. What's the best he can do? SYLI is probably about the worst case scenario. 24, 27, 30, 33, 36 points for him. Is that right? Yeah, 36 points for him. But I've just emptied the bag. All right. Kears scores 19. Kears will put me up 18. It'll put me up 37. He will get 36. So I'm up 1 with 7 tiles, and Sean is going to go out before me. I'm probably losing after Kears if Sean has Sili over here. So I can block the stab spot in a different way. I can play something like Nog or Nor. It takes care of bingos with stab, but that's going to leave 2 in the bag, and that's going to give Sean an opportunity to open the board. I don't think there's very many options as far as that goes. He can make a play here, then maybe I don't have the front hook to, but with the S, I probably will. I can only really see him playing Law or Ta to set up a hook, or Na, in which case I've got the S and I don't care. This is tough. That's only 10. You know, I'd like to score more points. I also don't hold any plays over here anymore. I have to give up the N to go here, and so I lose skin. I can pull another N or a T or a D and hit a play here. And if I play Nog and then Sean plays Sili, I'm still in a pretty bad situation, but he's going to have 5 tiles on his rack after he makes that play, not 3, so he's probably not going out the next turn, even if he has that blank. I've got inks here, so I think I'm going to win that game. I think I'm going to outrun that. I can also play grins. That's a little bit different. It's also going to empty the bag. Maybe if he can bingo ending in an A, I will lose the game. But I guess I no longer hold ink. I no longer hold the S for a play down here. And then I'm going to have to decide between playing Nor for 10 and Nog for 12. Just decision after decision after decision that I've got to make here, and I know I'm going to mess up at least one of them. The other thing about Nor and Nog is it could send a message to Sean that I'm not sitting on the S, when in reality I am. Maybe Rude has already given away to Sean that I have the S, but maybe not. Maybe I'm holding OR after that play or RD after that play, and I have to do it. So, not super worried about the telegraph. I'm liking the fake signal because that increases chances of making a play here. I'm gonna play Nor. I'm gonna keep my rack as flexible as I can. Um, I pulled a Y, so I didn't actually have to worry about Sila, and Kiers probably would have won the game. But you can't know that things. You can't know things like that, I guess. I have Skid here for a bunch. Sean is in a situation where he's gonna have to open the board and try and bingo, I think. So we'll see how Sean is able to do that. And I will probably end up blocking the spot that Sean sets up in some way and winning the game by a little. Options, I've got Sky for 28 if he does play down here. I've got Skid for 42 if he doesn't. So, in a good situation now. I don't really see any sort of play that Sean can make that can totally blow this game up for me. Any sort of like unblockable setup he can make. I can really only see him playing to the W and Jew. And he's going to run out of time pretty quickly too, so he won't be able to think about it. Maybe there are like outside draws he can have at a bingo that fits right underneath the Zeal somehow, but I just don't see that. He's going to play Sail for 27. INTU blank is his leave. Not going to have an out here. I don't think he's going to have an out at all unless I set him up for one. And if I play Sky, I'm certainly not doing that. Sky puts me up 29 points. I'll be losing 12. So if he's able to go out for 17, Sky will lose me the game. Otherwise, I think I'm fine. Inks is going to be 27, but hold a bunch of points on my rack, so I don't think that's the thing to do. I'm going to go ahead and play Sky. It's got to win the game. I've got Zig for 13 if I need it. Other options, I don't have too many. Die is going to be 14. It'll get me points. Like I'll be able to score enough to stay ahead of Sean, and that's all that really matters now. I could just drop the D right here for 17 if I need to. I've got plays that score points. I'm fine. Yeah, I think I've talked a couple videos ago about, just a stereotypical boring game. One player bingos twice and the other player bingos once, and the player who bingos twice wins by like 40 or 50. That was this game. I apologize for my voice. I'm getting struck by allergies really bad. I've never had allergies in Texas before, although Austin is often called the allergy capital of the world. And then for some reason last week I just got hit really hard. You probably heard me the last couple of videos, just very congested. Hoping it goes away soon. Hoping I can move out of this city and this state in the next couple of years so I don't have to deal with this anymore. But I'm sure there's grass and ragweed pollen all across the country. So maybe less in Oregon, though, or California, or wherever I move, somewhere west. Sean is now running very low on time. I'm sure he's just trying to find any sort of outplay, but I don't think it's going to be there for him. He can try and phony me with unlost, or maybe that's even a word. Nope, he is just going to play tuna. He's holding an I. Quickly, I'm going to look if I get I stick, but it. That's not going to happen. If is 5, yeah. So 16 points, holding 6, that's minus 10. 14 minus 10. 17 minus 8. Looks like get's probably going to be the thing to do. I'm going to win the game, so just go ahead and hit 400 points. Let Sean go out. Win by about, 6 points there, so win by 17, and that's the game. Alright, again, thanks for watching. Always happy for feedback, always happy for suggestions on turns, things I missed, call me an idiot, whatever you want. But thanks for watching. We'll do another one soon. Adios.